Hi everyone. Welcome back to my David Lynch series. I am going through each one of his movies one at a time, making a video on each, and I'm doing Mulholland Drive today. This movie came out in 2001. It was originally a television pilot, but it was rejected by the network. They didn't want to make it into a series after they saw it, so David Lynch got some money from other investors and shot more footage and then turned it into a feature film. I didn't like this movie that much when I first saw it. I liked it up to a point, but then there was a point in which it just sort of veered off in some weird direction, and I wasn't crazy about it. But I appreciate it more now, particularly because I've read a little bit about what's going on in the film, and that I also recently rewatched The Prestige by Christopher Nolan, because I did a series on him in the summer. And I noticed about The Prestige was that there was a lot of references to this secret that was being kept and not revealed until the end. In Mulholland Drive, there is a surface story, and then there is a story hidden underneath it. And that hidden story is referred to pretty regularly throughout the movie, mostly through dialogue, just in the way certain things are phrased and what have you. The surface story, if you will, involves a character named Betty, who's played by Naomi Watts, who I'd seen not in a lot of stuff. She was in a movie with Joe Mantegna, and she was in Tank Girl with Lori Petty, but this is the movie that sort of made her name and made her a highly sought after actress. She's in this movie called The Impossible with Ewan McGregor that's about to come out, if it hasn't already, which looks really exciting. And this was the one where everyone said, "Whoa, who is this Naomi Watts person? She's amazing." So, yeah, she's really good in the movie. Her character Betty is this sort of wide-eyed, really sort of optimistic and excited young aspiring actress who's come to Los Angeles from Canada. She's staying in her aunt's apartment in Los Angeles and is going to be going on an audition. And she's super excited about it and is just really optimistic about her chances of making it big in the movie industry. Well, that's maybe stretching it a bit, but she's just very, very, very positive and upbeat about the whole experience. And when she arrives, she comes to her aunt's apartment. Her aunt is an actress who is going to be away for a while shooting a picture somewhere else. So she's going to be staying in her aunt's place. But when she arrives, there's another woman there in her apartment. And she didn't realize that her aunt had a friend who was going to be staying there. But as it turns out, this other woman named Rita, who's played by Elena Harring, actually is a complete stranger to both of them. She was in a car accident the night before, and she got hit in the head, and she has amnesia. She doesn't remember her name or anything that happened to her before the accident. So when she admits this, Betty decides that she's going to help Rita figure out what happened to her and who she is. She's also got a purse full of wads of cash and a mysterious blue key. It was a really funny scene when I first saw it in the theater. Everyone was laughing really hard, and she would put out stack after stack of $100 bills, just like, whoa, what is this? But the two of them, they become friends, and Naomi Watts is doing whatever she can to figure out exactly who she is and trying to help her remember. And so they go on their little investigation as she is preparing for her big audition at the studio, where hopefully she'll be discovered and become, a successful working actress. Additionally, there is another plot involving Justin Theroux's character. Justin Theroux plays a director who's played by, whose name is Adam Kesher, who's directing a musical that's sort of a 1950s style musical. And he's being threatened by some organized crime types to cast a particular actress in the lead role. He doesn't want to do it. The role is extremely sought after. He's seen the top actresses in Hollywood, but they're insisting that he take this person who's played by Melissa George, and that he be agreeable to this. Otherwise, the movie's going to be shut down. He's going to be financially ruined. So he's in a tough spot right there. He's got a lot of funny scenes, Justin Theroux. He's also a screenwriter as well, if you didn't know. He co-wrote the screenplays for Tropic Thunder and Iron Man 2, if I recall correctly. Now, one of the reasons why I didn't like this movie as much at first is because although it proceeds really, really nicely throughout most of it, with a few little sort of strange side diversions throughout involving incidental characters who we never see again, the last portion of the movie obviously the part that was shot especially for the feature film and not for the pilot just goes in a very, very, very strange direction. I didn't understand it at all. Well, since I've seen it in the theater, I read more about the movie and really sort of understand what's going on a lot better. And this is why it reminded me of The Prestige, the way that, this secret revelation is hinted at throughout the movie in very, very subtle ways. And so I enjoyed it a lot more than I had in the past. Not sure it's one of my favorite David Lynch movies, because it is sort of a situation where you had these storylines that were just starting out and then they're sort of dropped. It wasn't like David Lynch decided to cut all that stuff out. He left a lot of it in and just added on. And presumably there are some scenes from the pilot that he replaced completely. But who's to say what those are? He's not telling. He's been asked, what kind of changes did you make and where's the break between the pilot and the feature film? And he's just like, I'm not telling that, because quite frankly, I'm sure that there's new footage made especially for the feature film that is throughout the movie. There's one scene in which you've got a couple of guys who are laughing about something terrible that happened, and then there's a violent moment, people getting shot, and that's pretty obvious that was made for the feature film and not the pilot. But there's plenty of weird stuff there, nice Lynch touches involving strange, surreal things that are happening. But there's a number of characters that just pop in just for like a couple of scenes or even just one scene, and nothing really goes on with their character. And given what we know about what happens once you see the entire movie and you get a full idea of everything that's happened, there's a whole bunch of plot threads that are just dropped, that just have no resolution whatsoever. So I'm not sure it's an entirely successful film, but it is interesting, and probably, the best movie that could have been made under the circumstances, I guess. At least the most inventive. Also, you've got Badalamenti doing the score again, and it's another really good one. I wanted to mention one actress in particular, because aside from this movie, I haven't seen her in a lot of other stuff. She's been on television, according to IMDb. She's been appeared in a number of regular series television. But her name is Elizabeth Lackey, and she played one of the actresses that was hoping to get the part in the Adam Kesher film, the 1950s film. She has a musical number, which is, I think, called 16 Reasons, which is a really, really fun song, and she plays the part really well. I'd like to see her in more stuff. She's really good. Who else is in this movie? Dan Hedaya plays one of the gangsters. Actually, Angelo Badalamenti, the composer, plays one of the gangsters as well. Catherine Town plays the director's assistant. You've got this strange guy called the Cowboy who's sort of intimidating. A bunch of actors I'm not really familiar with. There's a point in this movie where, like I said, things get just really, really weird. Betty and Rita go to what they call Club Silencio, which is basically this sort of stage review, this theater review, which a bunch of performers come out to either sing or play music, but everyone just keeps insisting that it's just a recording. All it is just a recording that you hear, and that nothing is actually being played or sung live, and they just keep repeating it over and over again. There's some significance to that. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's around that point that things get very, very strange. But there is I've said in the past that I don't really understand a lot of what happens in certain Lynch sequences, and I don't know what the significance of it is. But I think that with this movie in particular, when it comes to the Betty and Rita storyline, everything that you need to know to understand what's really happening is in the film. That may not be the case with all the other supporting characters and what's going on with them. Robert Forster from Jackie Brown's in this movie, and he has like one scene. Clearly he was going to have a big part in the TV series. I don't even know why they left the scene to begin with. They gave him like a special credit. I'm just like, he's in one scene. He has 3 lines total. It doesn't make sense to me. But as far as the Naomi Watts and Elena Harring characters go, their storylines are pretty much fully complete, even though they take a really weird turn late in the picture. It's not like you just will never figure out what happened to them. I think it's pretty clear what happened. So Mulholland Drive, and I have just one more video left to make on David Lynch's last feature film. I actually will seek out some of his shorts that he's done since then. And talk about them maybe for a final David Lynch video. But this last feature film was Inland Empire, so that's the one I'm going to be talking about in the next few days. So thanks very much for watching. And again, if you'd like to make a video of your own on a David Lynch movie, attach it to one of my videos. I'll add it to the big playlist. And the link to that playlist is in the description so you can see all those videos for yourself. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.